So one of Robert Mueller's top deputies, Andrew Weissman, he's out with a new book. It's called Where Law Ends Inside the Mueller Investigation, in which he alleges that the reason that the Russiagate investigation did not ultimately nail Donald Trump was the fault of Bob Mueller himself, that his code of ethics didn't allow them to press hard enough to find the evidence. So it wasn't that the whole conspiracy theory was overblown. Not that there was nothing, improper that went on, but that it went way further in terms of what the media spun up than that what they were actually able to uncover and prove. No, the problem wasn't that. It was that Bob Mueller, the man that they spent so many months and months lionizing as the White Knight, ultimately it was his fault that they didn't get the goods.
Yeah, I mean, these people are ridiculous. They never stop. Like, Mueller's top deputy is now blaming Bob Mueller. And now he claims in the book and in the Atlantic article, he says when there is insufficient proof of a crime, we say it. But when there's sufficient proof with obstruction, we don't say it. It's so obvious saying that that people are interpreting it saying Weissman and them had proof that Trump obstructed justice, and they just would not go with it. And then he even blames Mueller himself explicitly whenever he's asked. Let's throw Glenn Greenwald's tweet up there on the screen. So Jeffrey Goldberg's asked him, did Mueller let the American people down? And Weissman says, absolutely, yep. Sorry, George Packer asked him, before quickly adding, I wouldn't phrase it as just Mueller. I would say The Office. The
Office, of which he was
the number two,
crucial
and apparently ran
part.
Things.
Right. I mean, that was a lot of the reporting at the time, was that he was really running the show in a lot of ways, very integral in drafting the ultimate report. And yeah, I mean, they did kind of leave themselves open to allowing Barr to characterize it before anyone else. I mean, that is certainly the case, but it's just amazing the way that they will fit the facts to meet their standard. Like, they will never let go of the extent of the conspiracy that they had all wrapped up in their head, because to do so would be to admit that they were wrong and to admit that they wasted the American people's time for years and years on when there were other really bad things that the Trump administration was doing that they could have, by the way, called people's attention to if they weren't so wrapped up in all of this. And also there's this constant, and we've covered this as well, this obsession with, like, why didn't the American people ultimately care?
Yeah.
Like, after all this time and journalistic resources and hour after hour after hour of cable news coverage, why didn't it really move the needle at all? And so this is also sort of the latest attempt to explain why it didn't end up bringing down this president.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. The whole thing is just this elite circus in which, the Russiagate and how much they spun into lionized Bob Mueller, and all of it was really just meant to cover for the fact that these people have been neoliberals for a long time, and a lot of people didn't like neoliberalism in the 2016 election. But they have to concoct these crazy conspiracy theories. I mean, think about it. Like, this guy loyally served under Mueller, and then the fact that Mueller refused to indict the sitting president of the United States was too much, right? And then he's like, oh, actually, he failed the American people, and I failed, and the office failed, and we failed to show up and to stick it to the president. It's like, look, you know what really stuck it to the president? Coronavirus, something of his own making, because that is something, again, that people actually care about.
Right.
And they will just never be able to square that.
They won't. And also, by the way, this is what the MSNBC audience and the Resistance audience wants to hear. It's sort of disgusting, I'm sure, the number of books that he is going to sell. So look, not saying that this isn't his view of how things actually went down, but you should also factor into people's motives and what they say, whether or not they stand to benefit from taking that position. And there is no doubt that he stands to benefit from this.
That's right.
All right, we'll have more Rising for you after this.